Good morning, everyone. Today we're checking out a brand new video from Prog Magic about what if the Regis were Paradox Pokemon. A brand new video from him, so let's hop in.
Both the legendary beasts and the swords of
I don't know why I said brand new video twice. Let's
justice
just
were
go.
made into Paradox Pokemon throughout the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC. So that begs the question, what if other legendaries were turned into Paradox Pokemon? So let's explore what that would look like, starting with the Regis. Hey everyone, Brandon here. Today we continue this channel's obsession with the Regis, aka the legendary giants or Titans. A while back I made a series of shorts on if other legends became Paradox Pokemon, and amongst them was
Oh yeah, I remember them.
Strolling Stones, a Paradox Regirock modeled after a Sauropod, which I just loved. But I was looking back at it, and it inspired me to think of 5 other ancient Paradox forms for the Regis. Because, let's be honest, the future Paradox Pokemon would make for a pretty boring video.
Yeah.
Oh hey, it's Registeel, but a robot. Oh wait, that's just normal Registeel. But if you really
it would just be robot, unchained to robot.
Want that itch scratch though, go ahead and take a look at this video where I gave the Regis dual-typed evolutions based on the modern age.
And if you like that video, make sure to check out my reaction to it to get my opinion on the designs.
Anyway, let's begin with Strolling Stones by Elite Four, which I just mentioned, which is a rock ghost type. The stones that form its body are said to be possessed by a dinosaur that roamed the Earth 1 million years ago, linking them together with paranormal energy. So you know how originally the Regis are all based on different ages, right? Well, with Strolling Stones being based on a sauropod, it could represent the Jurassic period or the age of dinosaurs. And the rest of the Regis could represent ages where different life on Earth began appearing or was dominant of. Before I begin with my own ideas though, I worked with Trainer Rex on all of the designs in this video, so make sure to check out their link in the description. We are going to go in dex order here, so first up would be Regice, whose Paradox equivalent would be Stomping Snow, the Cold Feet Pokemon, an ice fighting type.
Wait, fighting type? The other legendaries all shared a type.
Well, these legends aren't a trio anymore, and making 6 part ghost types feels boring to me.
This is just an excuse to make more dual-typed Regis, isn't it?
Oh,
hey,
most definitely.
Shut up.
They theoretically all could be part ghost type instead if you really care that much, but these are the types that I would have given them. With its name, I really liked the alliteration of Strolling Stones' name, and the Regis are called the Regis because they all share part of a name originally.
Yeah,
so I wanted to
Regi.
keep with that, as well as make it fit with the existing pattern for ancient Paradox Pokemon of adjective or adverb, then a 4 to 6 letter singular or plural noun. I am breaking tradition in another way though. I know every Paradox Pokemon's category is just Paradox Pokemon, but that's also just incredibly boring to me, so I'll be giving them the categories I would have made for the Paradox Pokemon.
Which
Anyway,
makes sense.
Stomping Snow is clearly based on mammoths or mastodons, which existed during the Ice Age that Regis was originally based on, so it felt incredibly fitting. Specifically, the mammoth lived during the early Pliocene epoch and went extinct during the Holocene epoch, which were both part of the Cenozoic era, which is actually our current geological era, but is also known as the Age of Mammals. Giving Regis icy tusks was absolutely a must in my mind, and Rex managed to bring exactly what was in my brain to life with this Paradox Pokemon. This entry about Stomping Snow can be found within the Scarlet book.
Despite its frigid appearance, it has a very fiery temperament. The slightest sign of aggression toward it can have this ancient Pokemon whipped into a fury. A stomp from its icy legs summons a cold cataclysm around it. Mysteriously, it resembles Regis. Maybe this was some kind of sibling made by Regigigas?
That stomp mentioned in the book would be its new signature move, Cold Crush.
Right, gotta remember, this is of course fictional and not based in the game.
And every legendary Paradox Pokemon so far has one. This move would essentially be an Ice-type version of Stomp, having a 30% chance to flinch the opponent. Though it has these incredible tusks as its main design focus, Ice Fang already exists as a perfect move to add to its learn set in the stead of a new move that would essentially be redundant. Its category actually alludes to this new move as well as being a fun pun. And I would have a cold crush on you if you became a member. Membership gets you perks like videos early, a shout out at the end of my videos, and can even fund 1 fake mon a month that you are credited for. So become a member today to help me continue making fun videos just like this. Next up would be Registeel, which we turned into Squatting Silver, the Mudcaked Pokemon, a steel ground type. If it wasn't clear by its appearance, Squatting Silver is based
it's an amphibian!
around frogs and other amphibians, primarily the Beelzebufo, the largest frog known to exist, which has the nicknames of Devil Frog or the Frog from Hell, which is where it gets these horn-like protrusions, though this frog wasn't alive during the era this Pokemon references. The age this represents is the Carboniferous period, also known as the Age of Amphibians, in which creatures began adapting to be able to venture onto the land in muddy swamp forests, or in arid deserts as the water there began drying up. The amphibians during this time were closer to salamanders or newts, so that's why we kept the
Cousin Bill, is that you? that's funny.
tail for squatting silver. It is also the reason we went for the ground type, rather than something like the poison or water type for it. On top of the fact that we already made a steel poison Registeel form, and there are a bunch of amphibian Pokemon with those types with only a couple ground types amongst them, despite tons of amphibians being known for hiding out in muddy areas. Turning Registeel into a frog just felt so natural to me given its already existing proportions. Its long arms and stubby legs made for an easy transition to the silhouette of a frog, and once again, Rex killed it. Its category of the Mudcakes Pokemon doesn't just come from its type and its thick thighs, but is a reference to mudcakes, which are particulates that form on drills while boring into the earth for water or oil, which given this is an ancient Pokemon and fossil fuels exist makes for a great connection. The Scarlet Book has this to say about Squatting Silver.
This super ancient Pokemon has been found trying to exhibit its natural behavior of burying itself in the mud. Though with not much of that resource found within Area 0, it has been seen trying to escape to the mud-soaked wetlands of southern Paldea. It uses its elastic metal tongue to stun prey while hidden beneath the earth.
This would be its new signature move, Silver Tongue, which would be like a combination of Lick and Fire Lash, giving it a chance to paralyze the opponent, which is both a reference to metal being a great conductor of electricity, and that the toxins from poison dart frogs can paralyze those that attempt to eat them. Next, we move on to the creator of the Regis, Regigigas, and we move back to the oldest era in this video. So with that, here is Surging Sire, the primordial Pokemon, a normal water type. So as I said, this design represents...
I like this design. It's weirdly simple, but effective.
It's the oldest period in this video, the Devonian period, known as the Age of Fishes, but also references the beginning of life on Earth. The sea is where all life began, so it makes...
I would have called it the Age of the Sea, but that's me. Whoops.
...of these legendary...
Sorry about that, let's rewind.
Video, the Devonian period, known as the Age of Fishes, but also references the beginning of life on Earth. The sea is where all life began, so it makes sense for a creator or sire of these legendary Pokemon and mover of the continents to refer to this period with both its design and category. With Surging Sire being normal water, the two most common types amongst Pokemon, it works well as another reference to how life began in the sea, and there are more species of life found in the sea than on land. The specific aquatic life that Surging Sire is based on is the Dunkleosteus, just like the fish parts of the Galar fossils. With its bony, armor-plated head working so well with the gold, almost armor-like parts of Regigigas. And the greenery found on Regigigas translates well to not only a tail, but to aquatic plants like seaweed. The Dunkleosteus could grow to be up to 33 feet, which is pretty big, but I would want Surging Sire to be something more like the size of a blue whale to really capture the grandeur that I'm going for. There's also a certain kind of whale known for its, procreative abilities, so there's that.
Oh, I thought he was about to talk about the Leviathan, which is the whale that literally had teeth.
That too.
Google that thing. Leviathan was a badass looking whale.
Rex and I also workshopped an ammonite or cephalopod based design to get closer to the beginning of life on Earth, but it just didn't look quite as cohesive as the fish based design. The Scarlet Book says this about Surging Sire.
This Pokemon seems to be one of the oldest living species on this planet. The dating done on the DNA we have managed to capture from this Pokemon places it as older than Relicanth. Could this be the true source of all these Paradox Pokemon that seem to resemble legendary giants?
Indeed it is. In an alternate timeline, Surging Sire was born of the sea while Regigigas was born of the land, incarnating in two different forms. When Groudon created the continents and Regigigas moved them, it intruded on Kyogre and Sire's domain, causing a war between them. Yeah, so Surging Sire is basically the ticked-off sibling of Regigigas from an alternate universe. Surging Sire lives up to its name, and while Regigigas was spawning the Regis, it was making creations of its own from the shoreline to counter them as time marched forward. Surging Sire would have its own version of Crush Grip called Crush Jaw, which would do 100 base damage and then do additional damage the lower the Pokemon's HP is. Next, we have the new kids on the block, Alecki and Drago. With Alecki coming first in the decks, allow me to introduce Soaring Static, the Thunderhead Pokemon, an electric flying type. As I've said,
the age of the buds.
In the past, Alecki represents the age of electricity, or the modern age, where life on Earth has drastically changed over the course of a small period of time compared to the history of the world. The same can be said for the period Soaring Static is based on, the Paleogene period, in which non-avian dinosaurs and pterosaurs had just gone extinct from the Cretaceous-Paleogene extinction event, also known as the infamous asteroid hitting Earth, wiping out 2/3 of life on the planet. New ecological niches had to be filled, and so avian dinosaurs took over, developing into what we know as modern-day birds. Thus, the Paleogene marks the beginning of the Age of Birds. Soaring Static has some slight pterosaur elements to it, but also adopts the feathers of the Archaeopteryx, which acted as one of the transitional animals from non-avian dinosaurs to avian dinosaurs, which then became birds. And it has a beak like modern birds. It was also meant to resemble Zapdos a bit, being another electric bird-like legendary.
Yeah.
Spreading out the arms of
Kinda.
Aleki into these wings and making the electric elements into feathers felt like such a no-brainer to me, and once again turned out exactly as I had hoped. Its category not only references that its head, and entire body, are made of electricity, but also the type of
Thunder.
cloud, the cumulonimbus, which works for its partial flying typing that is substituted for the wind type in some cases. Taking a look at the Scarlet Book tells you,
"In overhead terror, this Pokemon rains down lightning bolts from its thunderous wings. It seems as though it's managed to survive through an ancient extinction event due to its speed and the adaptability of its body."
naturally, those thunderous
Nice.
wings would be its signature move, Thunder Wing, which would be like Steel Wing with a chance to paralyze the opponent, which you would think they would have made by now given we have 3 electric birds. Last but not least,
And
we
yet
have
they
Drago,
haven't.
which Rex and I turned into Snapping Scales, the Lurker Pokemon, a Dragon
Oh.
Dark type. This design is a bit drastic compared to other Paradox Pokemon, but it just fits the concept too well. We gave it a body and changed its head to look like a mix between Feraligatr and Crocodile, because this Pokemon refers to the age of reptiles. The entire Mesozoic era was given this distinction,
Here
but we
we
could
go.
say that it applies to the Triassic period in this case, as that is when Archosaurs reigned supreme. More specifically, the clade Pseudosuchia, who were the ancestors to crocodilians, with dinosaurs not really stepping into the limelight until the Jurassic. The Scarlet Book says this about Snapping Scales.
Oh yeah?
An apex predator. This Pokemon is known to hide itself in the dark, murky water and strike out at those on the shoreline. This Pokemon seemed to compete with and be able to take down the early ancestors of Tyrantrum.
And its signature move,
Nice.
Dragon Lurk, would reference its method of predation, with it acting like a dragon-type version of the moves Dive or Dig, lurking one turn and then
Ooh,
attacking
that
the
could be
next.
useful.
I know people aren't really a fan of 2-turn moves, but honestly, it really fits the concept. I've also heard that Twitch streamers say that this move is the backbone of their streams. And those are the Regis as ancient Paradox Pokemon. Thank you so much to our incredible
Not
members whose
bad.
names you can see on screen for supporting this channel with their hard-earned money, which you can also do by hitting that join button. Thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.
Okay, that's better. Alright everyone, that's going to be the end of today's video, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more, and I'll see all of y'all next time when we flick back on. Until then, this is Fox, signing out. Peace.